The morning sun spills gently across the quiet suburban cul-de-sac. Manicured lawns glisten with dew, mailboxes stand in perfect symmetry, and the faint hum of sprinklers fills the air. Ethan Miles, a calm, sharp-minded civil engineer in his early 30s, steps out onto his porch, coffee in hand. Beside him lies Max, his loyal German shepherd, resting peacefully with his head on his paws. Max isn't just a pet. He's family. He was his late father's companion, a disciplined, intelligent dog trained to respond to calm voice commands and never leave Ethan's side. Ethan pats Max's head. "Morning, buddy. Another peaceful day in paradise, huh?" Just then, the familiar click of heels echoes down the sidewalk. Mrs. Judith Crane approaches, mid-40s, sharp haircut, bright pink pantsuit that somehow glitters under the morning sun, clipboard in hand. She's the kind of person who treats the HOA handbook like scripture. She pauses in front of Ethan's driveway, squinting behind oversized sunglasses. Her voice crisp and commanding, "Mr. Miles, good morning. Lovely day, isn't it, though? I couldn't help but notice that." Ethan follows her gaze to Max, who lazily raises his head and wags his tail. "That," she continues, pointing her pen like a sword, "is a violation of Section 5B. No large breed animals that may intimidate or pose perceived threats to neighbors." Ethan blinks, confused. "Ma'am, that's Max. He's been here for years. He's trained, probably more polite than most people around here." Mrs. Crane doesn't smile. "Policy is policy, Mr. Miles. I've had 2 anonymous reports about a large, intimidating animal on your property." "You'll have to remove him." Ethan lets out a small laugh, thinking she's joking. "You're serious?" "Completely," she replies, scribbling something on her clipboard before walking away briskly, heels clicking like a metronome of authority. Ethan watches her go, shaking his head. "Max, congratulations. You've officially scared the HOA." That evening, the air turns cooler. The street glows with soft porch lights. Ethan sits with Max on the front steps, throwing him a tennis ball under the fading orange sky. Max runs, catches it midair, and trots back proudly, tail wagging. Then Ethan notices an envelope taped to his door. "Official HOA letterhead," bold print. He tears it open. "Notice of violation. Remove dangerous animal within 7 days or face $200 per day fine." Ethan's smile fades into disbelief. He reads it again, then looks down at Max, who's now sitting quietly, tongue out, waiting for another throw. "Dangerous animal?" He mutters, crouching beside him. "Buddy, you wouldn't hurt a fly." "Well, maybe a squirrel, but that's fair game." He sighs and glances down the street. The same pink pantsuit is visible 2 houses away, clipboard gleaming under a porch light. Mrs. Crane, making her evening rounds like a general inspecting troops. Ethan whispers, half to himself. They really picked the wrong dog to mess with. Inside, he sits at his desk, the violation notice flat on the table. Next to it, a framed photo, him and his dad with a younger Max sitting proudly between them. His dad's voice echoes in his memory. "Son, this dog's got more discipline than most men you'll meet. He's not just protection, he's family." Ethan leans back, staring at the notice, the corners of his lips curling into a quiet, defiant smirk. "All right, HOA," he says softly. "You want to play by the book? Then let's read your book carefully." Max tilts his head, ears perked. Ethan scratches behind them. "Don't worry, boy. We're not going anywhere." The camera lingers on the porch light flickering outside, the peaceful dog lying beside his owner, and the faint sound of Mrs. Crane's heels echoing again in the distance, like the calm before a storm. The last shot fades with Ethan's voiceover. "They called him dangerous. They had no idea what loyal looks like." Ethan stands in front of the HOA office, a neat little brick building with manicured hedges and a big bronze sign that reads Willow Creek Community Association. He takes a deep breath, holding Max's paperwork under his arm. Max waits obediently by his truck, head poking out the window, calm as ever. Inside, the air smells of air freshener and authority. Mrs. Judith Crane sits behind the front desk, her bright pink pantsuit almost glowing under the fluorescent lights. A small gold nameplate reads, Judith Crane, HOA Compliance Officer. Ethan approaches, polite but firm. Morning, Mrs. Crane. I came to appeal that violation notice. Max isn't a threat to anyone. She raises a hand sharply, cutting him off before he can finish. Mr. Miles, the board reviewed your case this morning. Rules are rules. Section 5B clearly prohibits any animal deemed large, intimidating, or potentially aggressive. This isn't a kennel, it's a community. Ethan clenches his jaw, maintaining his composure. With respect, ma'am, he's not a random pet. He's a trained, she interrupts again, voice icy. I understand you're attached, but emotional arguments don't override policy. You have 6 days remaining before fines begin. He stands there for a moment, looking at her perfectly stacked papers and color-coded folders. Everything about her screams control. He exhales slowly. All right, Mrs. Crane, I appreciate your time. Without another word, he leaves. The office door closes behind him with a soft click. Back home, Ethan sits at his desk, spinning slowly in his chair. The violation notice sits beside his laptop. Max lies at his feet, tail gently tapping the floor. Ethan scrolls through digital folders labeled Dad Service Files, K9 Unit Records, and Security Work Docs. He opens one file, an old scanned document. It's his father's K9 certification from the Air Force Security Division, complete with official seals and signatures. Next, a faded photo. His dad in uniform kneeling beside a young Max wearing a little K9 harness. Ethan leans closer to the screen, studying it. His eyes narrow. Then, a small smile creeps across his face. He mutters under his breath, They said no pets. But they didn't say no personnel. He starts typing furiously. Search bar, Private Security Registration Guidelines, State of Oakwood. Scroll. Then he finds it, a clause about property security staff and K9 handlers being exempt from general pet restrictions, as long as they are officially registered for protective service duties. His smirk grows wider. Well, Mrs. Crane? Looks like Max just got promoted. That night, the room glows from his computer screen. Papers, laminating sheets, and old security templates are scattered across the desk. Ethan works quietly, methodically, designing an official-looking ID badge. On the screen, bold letters appear. Willow Creek Residential Security below it. A photo of Max, serious, noble, wearing a little collar tag. Name, Max Miles. Position, K9 Officer. Perimeter. Patrol Ethan chuckles softly as he adjusts the font and border. Gotta make it look official, huh, buddy? Max lets out a low bark as if approving. The printer hums. Ethan laminates the badge, clips it to a small lanyard, and hangs it around Max's neck. He steps back, hands on hips, admiring his work. In the soft glow of the desk lamp, Max looks like a proper security agent, alert, proud, and oddly dignified. Ethan salutes playfully. Officer Max reporting for duty. The next morning, the cul-de-sac wakes to its usual calm. Except now, Max sits at the end of the driveway wearing his brand-new security staff tag. A small perimeter patrol in progress sign sits neatly beside him. Neighbors walking by chuckle, snapping photos. One whispers, "Did he actually give his dog a job?" And from down the street, Mrs. Crane appears, heels clicking faster than usual. She freezes when she sees the tag gleaming in the sunlight. Her jaw tightens. Ethan raises his coffee mug with a grin. "Morning, Mrs. Crane. Don't mind the staff. Just making sure the community's secure." Max gives a little bark. Perfectly on cue, Mrs. Crane's pen hovers over her clipboard, unsure whether to write a violation or call for backup. Ethan turns away, smirking. Rules are rules, right? The scene fades as upbeat music rises, the calm before the storm. The morning sun spills over the quiet cul-de-sac as Ethan's lawn sprinklers hiss to life. But this time something's different. The once normal front yard now looks like the entrance to a private security firm. A clean metal sign hangs neatly on the fence. Private Security, Active Patrol, Dog on Duty. Right beneath it, Max sits proudly in his brand-new black vest labeled Security. His ears are perked, eyes focused, tail resting like a disciplined soldier. Across the street, neighbors slow down their morning walks to stare. A dad jogging with his stroller chuckles, Hey, Ethan, didn't know you opened a security firm. A teenage girl records on her phone, whispering, "This guy's turning HOA drama into a movie." Even the mailman gives a salute as he passes. Ethan stands on the porch, sipping coffee, watching Max patrol the yard with precision. The air feels lighter, playful but confident. And then, the click of heels. Mrs. Judith Crane, the embodiment of HOA enforcement, storms down the sidewalk in her signature bright pink pantsuit and matching heels, clipboard gripped like a weapon. Her sunglasses reflect the private security sign as if it's personally mocking her. "Mr. Miles," she snaps, voice sharp enough to cut through the calm morning. "What exactly is this circus act?" Ethan sets his coffee down, calm and collected, that same polite smile spreading across his face. "Morning, Mrs. Crane. Not a circus, that's an upgrade. My security company's expanding. Max here is officially registered staff." He walks down to the gate, opens it smoothly, and hands her a thick binder. Inside, official-looking papers neatly tabbed and highlighted. She flips through, her brow furrowing deeper with every page. Local business license. Perimeter security application. K-9 officer registration. "What is this nonsense?" Ethan folds his arms casually. "Not nonsense, Judith. Documentation. Fully compliant under Property Defense Regulation, Section 42 of the State Homeowner Security Act." He doesn't even blink. He's done his homework. Every page looks legitimate enough to pass a quick inspection. There's even a glossy ID card inside, showing Max's photo, badge number, and title, K-9 Officer, Willow Creek Perimeter Patrol. Mrs. Crane looks from the ID to Max, who sits perfectly still, giving her an almost human-like stare. She sputters. "This is absurd." "You can't just, Ethan cuts in smoothly, voice steady but amused. "Train, license, and register a security professional? Sure I can. All legal. I even added a K-9 personnel section to my home insurance. Want to see that too?" For the first time, Mrs. Crane doesn't have a quick retort. She flips the binder closed, her jaw tightening like she's chewing gravel. "You can bet I'll escalate this to the board," she snaps. Ethan nods, almost cheerfully. "You do that, Judith. Max will keep watch in the meantime. Gotta keep the community safe, right?" As she turns sharply on her heel, Max gives a short bark. Not aggressive, just perfectly timed. The neighbors across the street burst out laughing. Someone yells, "Security's on duty!" A kid runs by, pretending to salute Max like a real officer. Mrs. Crane speeds off, pink heels clacking against the pavement like gunfire. Ethan kneels beside Max, scratching behind his ears. "Well done, Officer Max. You just passed your first inspection." Max lets out a soft woof, tail thumping the grass as Ethan grins toward the camera. The neighborhood buzzes with whispers, laughter, and disbelief. And just like that, Ethan's quiet rebellion starts spreading, one paw print at a time. The fluorescent lights hum above the HOA community hall as folding chairs squeak and neighbors murmur among themselves. A large whiteboard reads in bold red marker, "Emergency meeting, unauthorized K-9 personnel." At the head of the room stands Mrs. Judith Crane, in her signature bright pink pantsuit, matching heels, and a clipboard stacked with papers, photos, and highlighted printouts. Her expression says it all. This isn't just an HOA meeting anymore. This is war. Ethan sits calmly in the front row, wearing his usual red plaid shirt and jeans, phone propped up against a water bottle, live streaming the entire thing to TikTok. The stream title flashes across the screen. HOA tried to fire my dog. Within minutes, thousands join the live. Comments start flying. "Bro actually hired his dog. I need Max's resume ASAP. This HOA lady is fighting for her life." Mrs. Crane clears her throat sharply, adjusting her glasses. "This meeting is to address a blatant violation of community policy, the unauthorized employment of a K-9 as a so-called security officer." She slams a photo onto the projector. It's Max, lying peacefully on the porch, paws crossed, sunbathing. "This," she declares, "is not active patrol duty. This is napping!" The room chuckles. Someone in the back mutters, "Hardworking employee needs a lunch break." Ethan leans forward, speaking just loud enough for the microphone to catch. "Respectfully, Judith, you're presenting evidence of a dog being a dog." The crowd laughs harder. The live stream's comment section explodes with laughing emojis. Undeterred, she clicks to the next photo, Max wagging his tail while a neighbor's kid pets him. Mrs. Crane jabs her pink pen at the screen. "And this?" Intimidating behavior? Hardly. "That animal is not a licensed guard. He's a mascot." Ethan rises slowly, calm, composed, and walks to the table. He opens his binder again, the same one from before. "Actually, under city code, Section 7, Subarticle B," he says, flipping to a specific page, "residential security animals are permitted as part of private property defense systems, provided they operate under owner supervision." He holds up the highlighted section. "Page 32, right here. You're welcome to read it." Mrs. Crane freezes. The audience claps. Someone whistles. Ethan continues, voice even but smug. "You said he wasn't licensed." "I didn't say he was a guard dog. I said he was security staff," which he is. Documented, trained, insured, and, as you can see, adorable. He gestures toward Max, who happens to be sitting quietly beside his chair wearing the security vest, calm, alert, and dignified. It's like he knows he's the star of the show. Phones rise into the air. Flashes go off. Someone whispers, "This is better than Netflix." Another shouts, "Justice for Max!" Mrs. Crane's face tightens, her pink pen trembling in her hand. Then snap! It breaks clean in half. The room goes silent for half a second, then bursts into laughter. Ethan glances toward his live stream camera, gives a half smile, and says, "And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a breaking point." The live chat goes wild. Thousands of hearts flood the screen. "She just rage-snapped the pen. Max wins. HOA 0. Give that dog a raise." Even the HOA treasurer can't hide his smirk as he mutters. Motion to adjourn before someone breaks the clipboard too. Mrs. Crane, red-faced, gathers her papers in a flurry. "This isn't over, Mr. Miles. That dog will not remain on duty." Ethan shrugs casually, patting Max on the head. "Oh, he's not on duty right now. It's his day off." The crowd roars with laughter as the live stream ends, 2.3 million views and counting. The caption Ethan adds later reads simply, "Never mess with corporate security." By the next morning, Ethan wakes up to chaos, the good kind. His phone won't stop buzzing. Notifications light up the screen, mentions, shares, news tags, and thousands of comments. His TikTok has crossed 1 million views overnight. He scrolls through the headlines now plastered across social media. Engineer outsmarts HOA by registering dog as security staff. Meet Max, the neighborhood's newest K-9 officer. HOA Karen versus the goodest boy, internet picks a side. TV vans line up along his quiet suburban street. Reporters with cameras crowd the sidewalk, trying to get a glimpse of the infamous duo. Ethan steps out of his front door, red plaid shirt and jeans as always, and beside him, Max, wearing his black security vest like a badge of honor. The camera shutters go wild. Reporters lean in. "Mr. Miles, how did you come up with this idea?" Ethan smiles, scratching Max behind the ear. "Just enforcing community safety, one paw at a time." Laughter ripples through the crowd. Someone from the crowd shouts, "Max! Over here, buddy!" Max turns his head perfectly toward the camera, tongue out, tail wagging, the perfect photo op. Within minutes, that image goes viral too. A local morning show runs a short segment with the caption, "Security Dog or Community Hero." Clips of Max sitting proudly at the end of the driveway loop with upbeat music and graphics reading, "Check Justice for Max" and "Ho Karen." Soon, fan mail begins pouring in. Collars, toys, letters, even tiny custom dog sunglasses. Someone sends a care package labeled, "For Officer Max, the real neighborhood watch." Ethan sets up a small table near the porch for all the gifts. Max sniffs each one like he's inspecting evidence, tail wagging the whole time. Meanwhile, inside the HOA office, Mrs. Judith Crane is not having a good week. News reporters hover outside her door, asking for comments. She peeks through the blinds in her signature bright pink suit and quickly ducks down. One journalist catches a glimpse anyway and shouts, "Mrs. Crane, care to comment on Max's promotion?" She slams the blinds shut. Later that day, she releases a statement to the local paper. This situation has been grossly misrepresented online. The HOA's only concern was neighborhood safety, but no one buys it. The internet dubs her Karen versus K9. A meme spreads, a cartoon of her holding a clipboard while Max, in a superhero cape, guards the neighborhood. It's everywhere: Reddit, Twitter, even local billboards. Frustrated, the HOA board attempts to reassert control. They send Ethan another violation letter, this time claiming unauthorized use of signage and uniformed personnel. Ethan opens the letter, smirks, and immediately starts filming. "Another one, huh? All right, Max. Time to update the fans." In the next video, Max sits beside Ethan, both staring at the camera while dramatic music plays in the background. Ethan says, "So apparently our neighborhood's biggest threat is a well-trained dog wearing a vest." The video ends with Ethan laughing and giving Max a treat. That clip hits 2.7 million views in 12 hours. Donations pour into a GoFundMe. Ethan jokingly created titled, "Legal Defense for the Goodest Boy." Comments flood in. "Protect Officer Max at all costs." "Karen's going to need backup for this one." "We don't deserve this man or this dog." By the end of the week, Ethan's mailbox is full, his GoFundMe crosses $40,000, and Max is officially the most famous employee in the neighborhood. As the camera pans across the peaceful cul-de-sac, you can almost hear the distant hum of laughter from around the world, everyone rooting for the dog who beat the HOA at their own game. Weeks pass and the chaos slowly settles. The camera opens on a quiet morning in the same cul-de-sac where it all began. Birds chirp, sprinklers hiss across freshly cut lawns, and the HOA versus Max saga has become neighborhood legend. Inside the HOA office, the once bright and confident Mrs. Judith Crane now sits at her desk, flipping through a freshly printed handbook. Her pink pen, replaced since the last one snapped in frustration, hovers over the new section added in bold. "Certified security animals permitted under property defense exception." She reads the line twice, jaw tightening, then sighs. The board voted unanimously to approve the amendment. Resistance was useless, especially after the HOA's PR disaster went viral nationwide. Ethan had technically followed every rule, and now the HOA handbook reflected that, in writing, cut to Ethan's driveway. A small, sleek metal sign gleams under the morning sun, protected by Max, head of security. Ethan stands beside it, tightening the last screw into the post. Max sits patiently next to him, tail thumping against the grass, wearing his polished black vest with "Head of Security" embroidered in gold thread. Ethan steps back, admires the sign, and smiles. "Looks good, buddy. Promotion well earned." Max lets out a single bark, sharp, proud, approving. Just then, heels click on the pavement. Mrs. Crane appears, clipboard in hand as always, her pink suit bright against the soft morning light. She slows her pace as she reaches Ethan's yard, eyes lingering on the new sign. Her voice drips with restrained irritation. "So, I see you've updated your decor." Ethan doesn't look up from the sign, tightening the last bolt. "Not decor, Judith. Company policy." She folds her arms. "You know, Mr. Miles, you've caused quite a stir." Ethan straightens, dusts off his hands, and smiles. "Sometimes rules need a little clarification." Max walks closer to the fence, tail wagging like he's greeting an old friend and or maybe a well-known rival. Mrs. Crane glares down at him, but Max just sits, tilts his head, and lets out a soft woof. Ethan grins. "Relax, he's on break. Union rules." Mrs. Crane exhales sharply through her nose, turns on her heel, and walks away, her pink suit vanishing around the corner as Max watches silently. Ethan kneels down beside Max, giving him a gentle pat. "Guess that's one battle won, huh?" Max leans into his hand, eyes half closed in contentment. The camera slowly pans upward, from Ethan and Max at the gate to the golden sunset stretching over the neighborhood rooftops. Warm light spills across the street, turning everything a calm shade of amber. In the background, a soft, steady voiceover fades in. When they try to take what protects you, sometimes you've got to teach them who's really guarding the neighborhood. As the music swells, Max stands tall at the gate, the head of security tag catching the last glint of sunlight. His ears perk up, eyes scanning the horizon, alert, loyal, and proud. The frame holds for a moment, then gently fades to black.